Hello everyone, how are you doing? I hope you're having an amazing day. So in this video, I want to show you how you can customize the textures of a Metahuman. So as you can see here, in this example, I will show how you can add these tattoos to the body of the Metahuman, to the texture of the body, and I will show you this step by step on how to do this in Blender. So before we start, please hit the like button and subscribe so you don't lose any new content, and let's start. Okay, so first let's start exporting the meshes and the textures that we're going to customize in Blender. So let's start with the meshes. So let's open the third-person blueprint, the same one that we added the Metahuman in the last video. So this one. Let's select the mesh and let's click on this folder icon in the skeleton mesh asset to see this asset in the content browser. Now we just need to right click, go to asset actions, export, just select a folder where you want to export this. So I will export here, just save, and you just need to uncheck vertex color, level of details and collision, and just hit export. And there we go. Now let's export the face. So let's go back to the third-person blueprint. Let's go to the face here, click on this folder icon again, then in the asset right click, asset actions, export, choose a folder, just save and hit export. And there we go. Now we just need to export the textures as well. So let's do this. Okay, so let's export the body textures. So for that, let's go to the third-person character blueprint, this one. Let's select the mesh here. And here we have the material, as you can see. So let's open this. You just need to double click. And here, as you can see, we have the textures. So for this simple tutorial, I will only customize the base color, but I will export the normals as well, so we can see how it will look like inside Blender. So first, let's export the base color. For that, we just need to click on this folder icon. And there we go. We have the asset here in the content browser. Now we just need to right click, go to asset actions, export. You just need to choose a folder as well. So just select a folder, hit save, and there we go. We just exported this texture. Let's do the same for the normal map. So let's go back to the material, and this is the normal map, the normal main. So let's export as well. So just click on this folder icon, then in the asset right click, asset actions, export, select a folder and hit save. And there we go. Now we just need to export the textures for the face. To export the face textures, let's go back to the third-person character blueprint. Let me just close this material. And now let's select the face component. And as you can see, we have a lot of materials here, but the material that we want is this first one, the element 0. So let's double click on this to open it. There we go. And now if we scroll down a little bit, you will find the base colors. And if we scroll down a little bit more, you will find the normal maps as well. So as you can see, for the face material, we have more than one texture for the base color and more than one texture for the normal maps. So why is that? So basically, Unreal will blend between those textures to create those realistic animations in the face. So if you are doing animations on the face in a Metahuman, you will need to customize all these textures. So if you do something with the main texture here, you will need to do the same with the CM1, CM2 and CM3 textures as well, because in the blend you will lose those details that you added in the paint if you don't have those in the other textures as well. And you will need to do the same for the normal maps if you customize them. So keep that in mind. For this simple tutorial, I will only customize the first one, so the color man, the first base color and the first normal map, because basically if you know how to do for one texture, you basically know how to do for the other textures as well. So for this, I will only customize the first one. So let's export this base color, the color man. So let's click on this folder icon here, and in the asset, let's right click, asset actions, export, and just choose a folder to save and hit save. There we go. And let's do the same for the normal map. So let's scroll down and let's export the normal main as well. So let's click on this folder icon and in the asset, right click, asset actions, export and save. There we go. Now we just need to import all this in Blender and start customizing. So let's do this. Okay, so I'm using Blender 4.1 for this, okay? So let's start importing the meshes. So to import the meshes, let me first rename this collection to original meshes. There we go. And with this selected, let's go to File, Import, FBX, and let's just navigate where we have the meshes. So for me is this folder, and I will import the body first. So just select the body and hit Import FBX. And there we go. Now let's import the face. So let's go again to File, Import, FBX, and let's select the face and import. There we go. Now we just need to select the bones here, so the face bones and the body bones, and let's press 8 on the keyboard so we can hide those bones. There we go. So now we just need to import the textures. So let's do this. To import the textures here in Blender, we first need to create a material. So I will put the mouse in the upper right corner of this view here, as you can see, and when the mouse turns into a crosshair, you can click and drag to create a new window like this. So in this window, let's change this to the shader editor. So to do this, just click on this icon here and select shader editor, and there we go. So if you select the body, as you can see, we already have a material for this. So this M body synthesized here. So let's delete this one by clicking on this X here. We are basically removing this from the body, this material from the body. And by the way, if you want to close this tab here, you just need to press N on the keyboard and this tab will be hidden. If you want to have this tab again, you just need to press N again. There we go. So now let's create a new material for this body. So let's click here in the new, there we go. And I will name this material M body, there we go. And similar with Unreal, we have this node here where you can connect base colors, normal, metallic, roughness. So now we just need to import the textures here to connect on these pins. So to import the textures, let's press Shift A on the keyboard. And in this search, let's search for image texture. There we go. And here we can open an image. So let's click on open and let's navigate where we have the textures that we exported from Unreal. So let me just go to body here. There we go. And let's import the base color first. Let's open the image. And now we just need to connect this color output into the base color input of this principal BSDF. There we go. And now we need to see this in this 3D viewport. So to see the textures, we just need to hover the mouse in this view and press Z on the keyboard and change to material preview. And there we go. Now we are seeing the textures, as you can see. So let's import the normal map for the body. So it is the same thing. Let's press Shift A on the keyboard and let's search for image texture. There we go. And let's open now the normal map. So let's navigate where we have the normal map. There we go. Let's select it and open image. And now we just need to connect this on this principal BSDF shader. But to do this for the normal map, we actually need a normal map node. So let's press Shift A again and search for normal map. There we go. And now we need to connect this color in the color input of this normal map node and the output in the normal output here. There we go. But as you can see, this is a little bit weird. This is happening because in this normal map texture node, we are saying that the color space is sRGB. But normal maps doesn't have any color information, so we need to change this color space to non-color. So just click on the color space here and change to no color. And there we go. Now everything is correct. So let's do the same for the face. To import the textures for the face, it's pretty similar, so let's just select the face mesh here. And as you can see, we already have a material, but let's go to the material tab here. In these options, just select the material option here. And as you can see, we have a lot of materials for this face mesh, and we don't need these materials. We just need one material. So let's select the material and let's click on this minus icon. So let's click on this until we deleted all this material. So let's just click on this. There we go. Now we don't have any material in this mesh. Let's create a new one. So again, select the mesh and press on this new here. There we go. We created a new material. Now let's rename this to M face. There we go. Now we just need to do the same. We just need to import the textures and connect in these pins here. So let's start with the base color. So press Shift A on the keyboard and search for image texture. There we go. And now let's open the base color for the face. So let's go to the folder where we have the base color. There we go. And let's open the image and let's connect the color here in the base color input of this Principled BSDF. There we go. And now let's connect the normal map. So let's again press Shift A and search for image texture. There we go. Let's open the normal map for the face. So let's go to the folder here. There we go. Let's open. Let's change the color space to non-color. There we go. And let's again search for the normal map node. There we go. Let's connect the output of this texture here into the color input of the normal map and this normal map in the normal map input of the Principled BSDF. And there we go. Now we have the normal map in the face as well. Okay, so now we just need to start customizing the textures. So let's do this. Okay, so before we start customizing the textures, we need to correct the UV of the body. So let me show you what I mean by this. So let's create a new view here by placing the mouse in this upper right corner here and click and drag to create a new view. There we go. And let's change this view to the UV editor like this. And to see the UVs here, we need to select the body and we need to press tab on the keyboard to enter in the edit mode like this. And we need to select every vertex here. So let's press A on the keyboard to select everything. There we go. So in this view now, as you can see, all the islands is outside the bounds of the UV, as you can see, and this is the problem. So this is happening basically because Metahuman actually uses UDIMs to place the textures, but because we're going to do bake here in Blender, so after we customize the textures, we need to bake those textures, right? So to bake those textures, basically I need these islands to be inside these bounds here, inside these UV bounds. So basically to place this inside these bounds, let's select everything here with A. So with the mouse in this view, just press A on the keyboard. Now you just need to press G to move the textures, as you can see, X to move only in the X-axis, then -1 and just press enter. There we go. Now all the UVs is inside these layouts. Now we can just press tab again to get rid of this editor mode to come back to the object mode. Actually, the textures are basically the same, but now all the UVs is inside this layout. So now we can start customizing everything here. So there you go. Let's start. Okay, but before customizing the textures, let me show you the tattoos that I will add. So it is basically these ones. So let me open so you can see. So it is basically a transparency background with the main tattoo in white. So I'm doing like this because I will use stencil in Blender to paint those tattoos in the body. I will show you how to do that in a minute, but let me go through all the tattoos here. So it is basically a transparency background with white in the main tattoo, as you can see. But I have this one as well, so it is a transparency background but with colors, so I can show you how you can add colors as well. So there we go, we have these tattoos here. And I got these tattoos from the Free Pick website. So this one here, Free Pick, I just go here and search for tattoos. And there you go. If you do this, you have a lot of tattoos that you can download. A lot of them here are free, so you can download, but you need to give the credit to the creator, right? So you can use this website. Okay, so back in Blender, let's start customizing the textures. So I will start with the body. So let's select the face and let's press 8 on the keyboard. So we only have the body here to customize for now. Now we just need to select the body, and here in the shader editor we need to do something. So basically imagine that this is the first layer of this texture, so it is the base layer. So I will add the tattoos in a layer on top of this one. So how I'm going to do this? So let me show you. Let me just increase a little bit this so you can see this better. So let me get this material output and put a little bit to the side here so we have more room. And I will basically create another principal BSDF. So let's press Shift A on the keyboard and let's search for principal BSDF. There we go. So we have another one here that we can define the color, the metallic, roughness, normal, everything that you want. And I will basically put this principal BSDF on top of this first one, so on top of this base layer, right? So to do this, let's use a mix shader node. So let's press Shift A on the keyboard and search for mix shader. There we go. And I will connect this first layer on the first shader input here, and this second one on the second input, and of course the output of this in the surface input of the material output, like this one. There we go. So now this node is basically blending between these two shaders based on this fact value. So now it is 0.5, so it's basically a blend between those two, as you can see here in the 3D view. But if I put this fact on 0, we only got the first shader, as you can see. And if I put this on 1, this mix shader is selecting only the second shader, as you can see. So now we just need to create a mask where we can paint black and white, and where in the texture is black, this node actually will select the first one, and where we paint white, this node will select the second one. So this is basically how this works. I hope you can understand this. So let's create this texture map that we can paint on top of the texture. So let's do this. So to do this, let's press Shift A on the keyboard and let's search for image texture. And now let's create a new one. So let's press on new here, and I will name this tattoos mask. There we go. And we can define a resolution here. So I recommend that you use the same resolution as the textures of the Metahuman. So if you are using the Metahuman in the max quality, the base colors of the Metahuman are in the 4K texture resolution. So let's use 4K here as well. So I will click on one and just hold and drag to the other one here. There we go. Doing this, we can edit both of these values at the same time. And now I will type ×4. There we go. And if I press enter, there we go. Now we have 4K in both of these. So the color we can leave as white, as black actually. So Blender will select the first shader, as I mentioned before. We don't need alpha, so let's just uncheck this and let's create new image. So let's press new image here. There we go. And now we can connect the color of this in the fact of this mix shader. And as you can see, now Blender is selecting the first shader here in this node because the texture is all black. But if we paint white, in the parts that we paint white, Blender will select the second shader here. So now we can just paint this texture here. So let me show you. So to paint this, let's select this node here in the shader editor. We need to select this here so Blender know where we want to paint the details, right? So just select here. Now we can put this a little bit to the side here. Let's select the body, and here where is object mode, we can change this to texture paint. There we go. Now we have some options here. We have the color to define here, but because we are painting a mask, we only need to paint black or white. So just leave this as white. And now if I just paint in the body here, as you can see, we can paint the details that we want. And we are not painting white, we are painting that mask. So even if I go here and change this to maybe green, and even if I select white here, Blender will put green on this one because we are painting the mask here. And where in this mask is white, Blender will put this second shader, right? So I hope you can understand this. Now we just need to paint the tattoos. So to change this, you can either press Ctrl Z or you can press X on the keyboard to swap these colors here, as you can see, and you can paint in black. There we go. And Blender will select the first one here. So let's start painting the tattoos. Okay, so as I mentioned before, I will use stencil to paint those tattoos in the Metahuman. So how to use a stencil? So first we need a texture to use as a stencil. So let me just put this shader view a little bit to the side here. We don't need that anymore. And remember to select this texture here so we can paint on this texture, on this tattoos mask. There we go. Let's put to the side here and let's create a new texture. So to create a new texture, let's go down here to this texture tab. Let's click on this and let's click on new. There we go. Now we just need to open the texture that we want to use as a stencil. So one of those tattoos. So let's open here and let's navigate where we have the tattoos. So for me is this one here, and let's maybe select this first one. And let's open the image. There we go. So now we have this image in the Blender. Now let's go to this tools tab here. This is the active tool, so whatever tool you are selecting here, so I'm in texture painting, the tools will appear in this tools tab, right? Let's scroll down a little bit, and as you can see we have the texture option here. Let's expand this, and we have the texture selected here, right? But if I try to paint, let's paint white, so let's press X to swap this. There we go. And if I try to paint, as you can see, Blender is just repeating those textures over and over, and we don't want this. We want a stencil. So to do this, here in the mapping, let's change the mapping to stencil. And now if I put the mouse over this view, as you can see, we have the texture in the left corner here, as you can see. So now if I press the right mouse button and hold, we can move this texture around, as you can see. If I press Shift and hold on the keyboard, if I press Shift and the right mouse button, I can scale the image, as you can see. You can change the size of the image. And if I press Ctrl on the keyboard and the right mouse button, I can rotate the image. So this is basically how you can paint the texture. So now let me just go in the front view by pressing 1 in the numpad. There we go. And you just need to position the texture where you want. So let me just rotate a little bit here, scale a little bit down. Let me put maybe here. So I want this tattoo to be here, right? So maybe like this, a little bit bigger. There we go. And now because we are using a stencil, we can just paint over this stencil. So just paint like this. And the paint will happen only in the white part of the texture. And there we go. If you move, as you can see, we have the tattoo in the body. We have the image in the body, basically. So This is basically how we are going to put the tattoos on the body. Now you can just click on this X here next to the texture here, and if you click on this stencil be will be away. And if you want the stencil back, you just need to click on this and select the texture again, as you can see. Let me just get rid of this texture here, and we have the stencil in the body, as you can see. But if you want to change the colors, because I did like this, you can change the color. So this stencil is white, so I can paint any color on the stencil. So let's just go to this Principled BSDF and let's change this to black. Maybe I will use black for this tutorial, as you can see. And because this is a completely different shader, you can connect metallic, roughness, even emission. If you want this part of the body to emit light, you can do this, because we are doing in a completely different shader, right? We are not doing in the over this texture only, we are doing a completely different shader on top of the first one. So I really hope that you can understand this. So basically this is how I'm going to add the other tattoos. So I will speed up this part. If you have any questions, feel free to ask in the comments and I'll try to help you out. So let me do this. Okay, so I placed these tattoos in the character, as you can see, and I placed this using the stencil technique that I showed you before. So you basically can use this to paint everything that you want in the character, and basically anything, any model, right? But if I get closer to the tattoos, as you can see, we don't have the normal information of the skin in the tattoos as well. So if you want to see this in Blender, you just need to go to the shader editor here, and you just need to connect the same normal map information of the body to the second one here, to the second shader. So just connect this in the normal information here, and there we go. Now we have the skin details in the tattoo as well. There we go. So now I want to show you how you can add the tattoo that has colors, because if I add that tattoo here in this same setup, the colors of the texture will basically be multiplied by this one, and this can get a little bit weird. So to do this here, I will paint that tattoo directly on the base color of the body. So now we just need to select this one here. Remember to select the texture where you want to paint. So let's select the base, the body base color here. And now we can start painting. So let's go back to the textures here and let's create a new texture. And now let's open the texture that has colors. So let me just go back to tattoos. So this one here, let's open, and this is already set up as a stencil here. So if I go to tools, as you can see, in the texture here, we have the mapping set to stencil and the correct texture selected here. Now we can paint this. So let me just paint on this right arm here, like this. Maybe like this. There we go. And we just need to paint this. There we go. As you can see, now we have the tattoo on the skin with the normals, everything. Okay, so this is basically how you can paint tattoos in the character and how you can basically customize the textures wherever you want. So you can paint directly in Blender, or you can use an image, an outside image as a stencil to paint details on the character. So this is basically how you can do this. For the face, it is the same thing. You just need to go to the face material and create the same setup that I did here. For a second layer, create a texture mask and just paint whatever you want on top of the already existent layer, so the skin, right? You just need to do this. So now that we created all this, so now that we customize the texture, we need to bake this texture to use in Unreal. So now I want to show you how you can bake the results. So let's do this. Okay, so I didn't mention before, but it is really important that you save the tattoos mask that you paint, you save the textures, because otherwise, even if you save the blend file, if you close Blender, you will lose the texture that you are painting, the new texture that we created, so the tattoos mask. So to save this texture, first we need to see the texture. So let me put the mouse here in the left upper corner here, and let's drag a new view. There we go. And let's change this view to image editor. There we go. And here, if we click in this image icon here, we can select an image. Let's select the tattoos mask here. There we go. And this is basically the tattoos that we painted in the body. So now we need to save this image. So to save this image, you just need to click on image here and save as. Just go to a folder where you want to save this image and just click on save as image. There we go. This way you don't lose the image that you are painting, and every time that you make a change to this image, so if you add more tattoos here or if you paint anything on this image, you need to save again. So you need to go here, go to image and save, or save as a new file, right? So don't forget to save the image. It's really important so you don't lose. Okay, so let's start baking the texture. So for this simple tutorial, I only customized the texture for the base color of the body here. I didn't change anything about the normals, and I didn't customize the face. So I don't need to bake the face, I don't need to bake the normals. I just need to bake the base color here. So to bake the base color, first we need to create a texture that we want to bake, right? So here in the shader editor, let's select the body. We need to do this in the material of the body. So select the body, and now we just need to create a new texture here. So let's press Shift A and let's search for image texture. There we go, and let's create a new one. So again, I recommend that you use the same resolution as the body texture that we get from the Metahuman. So for me it is 4K. So let's change the width and height here to 4K. So basically times this by 4. There we go. I will change the name this to body base color. There we go. We don't need alpha for this. And the color we can leave as black. So let's just click on new image. There we go. And we don't need to connect this to anything. We just need to create the texture, right? So now that we created this, I will create a new view only for us to see this texture, right? So let me just go here to this left upper corner here, and let me just drag to create a new view. And I will change this view to the image editor. So let's change this to the image editor. And here we can select the texture that we created, so the body base color. So let's just select this. And for now, everything is black because we didn't bake. So now let's start the bake. So for the bake, it is really important that you select the object in the 3D view. So make sure that the body is selected here. In the material, we need to make sure that the textures that we want to bake is selected as well. So select this node here, the body base color node that we created here. And now we can start the bake. So let's go to the render options here. And to bake, we need to change the render engine from Eevee to Cycles, because Cycles is the only engine here in Blender that can bake, so just select Cycles here. And now let's scroll down until we find the bake option. So let's expand the bake here. There we go. And here we need to change the bake type. So let's change this from combined to diffuse. So basically diffuse is the base color of the texture, right? So let's select the diffuse here. And here in the contributions, let's uncheck the direct and indirect here, because I don't want anything about light. I don't want indirect light or direct light. I just want color information, right? So just select color here and uncheck the other ones. And here in the size, in the margin options, in the size, I like to change this to 5 pixels. So just put 5 here, or leave as 16 if you want, but I like to put in 5, so just put in 5 here. And now we can click on bake, but again you need to make sure that the body is selected here in the 3D view, and the texture that you want to bake is selected in the material of this body, right? So both are selected. Now we just need to click in bake, and here down here, as you can see, we just need to wait for this to end. So let's wait a little bit. And there we go. As you can see here, we have the new textures with the tattoos that we created, as you can see. So now we just need to save this image. So again, let's go here in this image editor. So the image editor here, let's go to image and let's save as. Just select a folder where you want to save this new texture. So let's go to the updated texture here, body, and let's save as image. There we go. So again, for this basic tutorial, I will only customize the base color of the body. So let me know in the comments if you want a video showing how you can customize the normal maps as well. So if you want, I can make a video about that. But for now, we already saved this image, so now we just need to import this new image inside Unreal, and we just need to basically replace the body base color with this new one that we customized here in Blender. So let's do this in Unreal now. Okay, so back in Unreal, we just need to import the new texture that we baked in Blender. So let's do this. So for this, I will open the Metahumans folder, the Killen folder, so the folder with my Metahuman that I imported here in this project. And inside this folder, I will create a new folder. So let's create a new folder for custom textures. There we go. And inside this folder, let's import the new texture. So just go to import and navigate where you have your new texture. So for me is this one, body base color. There we go. Let's open this. Now we just need to replace the original body texture with this new one. So to replace, let's open the third person blueprint, because this is the blueprint where I have my Metahuman. There we go, I have my Metahuman here. We just need to go to the mesh component where I have the body of the Metahuman as a skeleton mesh asset. Here we have the material, so we just need to open this. And there we go, we have the body base color here. We just need to replace this with the new body base color. So let's go back to the third person here where we have the content browser. Let's navigate where we have the texture and let's select the texture here, so we can go to the material and we can click on this arrow to replace this to wherever we have selected here in the folders. And there you go, we have the new textures here with the tattoos, as you can see. Now we just need to save this. There we go, we can close. And as you can see here, we already have all the textures here in the Metahuman, as you can see. So if I compile this and save, and if we hit play, so let me hit play here so you can see. There you go, we have the Metahuman with the new textures that we created in Blender. So basically the original textures with tattoos, and this is it. This is basically how you can do this. Okay, so this is basically it. This is how you can customize the textures of a MetaHuman inside Blender. So I really like to explain why I'm doing things so you can customize this to whatever you want. So not only for the tools, but everything you want to paint on the character. So this is basically how you can do this. In this video I only showed how you can customize the base color, so if you want me to show how you can customize the normal maps as well, just leave in the comments and I'll try to create a video like this. But this is basically it. I really hope you can understand. If not, feel free to leave a comment in the comments and I'll try to help you out. So basically this is it. If you do like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe. That helps me a lot. And as always, thank you for watching, keep learning, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye!